Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business from Bill Snyder Family Stadium here in Manhattan, Kansas. Big 12 football on FOX. Texas in town to take on the K-State Wildcats. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner Joel Klatt, and welcome to the Little Apple for the Texas Longhorns. They're coming off a very disappointing loss last week in Austin to Iowa State. Needless to say, partner, Texas felt that they could win a conference championship this year, so they've fallen below expectations a bit. However, we get an opportunity, that's me and you, to see a young man that has done so much and means so much to the Texas program, Big Sam. Yeah, and probably for the last time for us in person, right? We're not going to be calling their game next week. Sam Ehlinger has meant so much to this program, right? In particular, in a tumultuous 4 years, he's been the steadying force for the Texas Longhorns. So much success. I think of the Sugar Bowl victory. There's so much on his plate and on his shoulders, even this year, having to be their leading rusher as well as the quarterback for them, throwing the ball over 30 times a game. I love his leadership. He stepped in front of the team this week, and he told them, hey, let's go have fun and finish this the right way, and that's what they hope to do. On the other side today is a freshman, a guy that hopes to leave a legacy as big as Ehlinger's at Texas here at Kansas State. Deuce Vaughn, small in stature, but boy, huge in terms of his contribution. Leading rusher and receiver for Kansas State. Great ability out of the backfield, wonderful hands. He's an electric playmaker, and they're going to need him to play huge today. Terrific weather for college football here in the Midwest. 43 degrees at kickoff time. High sky, folks. A grapes of wrath sky, because that sun is bearing down on the stadium here. Texas won the toss, deferred. Kansas State to receive this one into the end zone for a touchback. Time now to join the third member of our crew. On the sideline, the All-American girl, Jenny Tack.
Well, Gus, you mentioned the tough loss for Texas last weekend. When I was having a conversation with defensive tackle Taquan Graham, he said that loss at home on senior day, it hit him in the face. It woke him up a bit, telling me my time here is ending. And Joel, you mentioned it, what Sam Ehlinger wanted his guys to do, to enjoy this moment. And you know what, for K-State, it's all about the seniors today. Wyatt Hubert telling me for so many, it's the last time we run through that tunnel. They haven't lost their last 6 senior days, don't plan to today. On first down, Kansas State throwing it into the flats, and not a lot of room for Phillip Brooks, who's thrown down immediately. Ojomo with the tackle for the Longhorns. Will Howard, true freshman, came in when Skylar Thompson got hurt, got off to a good start, but has struggled since. Well, and listen, defenses have adjusted to him, and he struggled throwing the ball a little bit. They've tried to create some things in the run game, tried to get him easy throws to the tight end, Briley Moore and Deuce Vaughn. We'll see how he plays today. And here's the running game. They go straight ahead. Texas ready for it. Harry Trotter running the football. Ojomo again with the stop as we take a look at the Wildcats on offense. They are banged up on the offensive line. They lost their 2 starting guards last week to COVID on Friday. Now Dawson Delforge, who started last week at guard as a backup, he's out. So they are a patchwork group up front. On the outside, they need their playmakers to play big. Malik Knowles, watch for him. Sebastian Taylor as well, even getting those guys involved in the run game. Third down and 11 at the 24. Howard to throw it over the middle, and it's caught. Nice catch by Malik Knowles, but he's upended quickly by Chris Brown. Great coverage there by Chris Brown on a third down. Good execution on offense, better on defense, though. Brown right there, and this Texas defense, who earlier in the season, Gus, was struggling with tackling, comes up, and they've been tackling so much better of late. That's evidence of that one right there. Chris Brown with a great tackle. So Ty Zentner comes in to punt it away for K-State. He'll punt it from the 16-yard line. High spiraling kick. And it's fielded inside the 20 and all the way up across the 35-yard line to the 40-yard line for Robinson, and that brings Sam Ehlinger on for the first time. Well, this guy has had just such a wonderful career. I mean, look at those numbers. 12,000 yards, almost 13,000 of total offense. All of these categories lead the FBS players actively. There was a flag
block
on
in the
play.
back, number 15 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Texas.
This is going to back him up significantly. But Ellinger, Gus, they're asking him to do even more this year than they have in past years. He's their leading rusher, 388 yards. They're throwing the ball over 30 times. They throw it down the field as much as anybody in the country, 20 yards or more. And Chris Kleiman, the head coach for Kansas State, Gus, he said it point blank to us. I asked him, like, how good is Sam? You tell me. And he says, Sam Ellinger is the best quarterback in the Big 12. That comes from Chris Kleiman, the head coach of Kansas State. That's what the Wildcats are facing today.
First down and 10 at the 19 for Ellinger, 17 of 29 last week against Iowa State, 298 yards passing, a touchdown, no picks. And he swings it out near side, ball caught. That's Jake Smith, the shifty one, and Smith gets the ball upfield. And a nice pitch and catch as Denson makes the tackle.
Big story this week, Gus, was their star offensive tackle, Samuel Cosme, opted out after that loss to Iowa State. So they're a little bit patchwork up front. Jake Majors, a true freshman, is going to be starting at the center position as Kerstetter is going to move out. And then on the outside, they're looking for more consistency out of these wide receivers. But watch for Bijan Robinson. He's been the featured running back of late in the last couple of games, and he has been really good. He's in the backfield with Ellinger now.
Second down and 6 at the 23. Ellinger throws underneath, and he has a receiver, breaks a tackle. How about Jordan Whittington down the sideline? A huge gain for the Texas Longhorns. He's stopped by Justin Gardner. Defensively, let's take a look at the Wildcats.
They're so good up front, led by Wyatt Hubert and Khalid Duke. Their defensive ends, their linebackers are back and healthy, and in the back end, a patchwork group that's just been trying to get healthy and get onto the field.
And that's Eagles with the reception for Texas. Gain of 5 makes it second down and 5 at the 40 after that big 33-yard catch. Texas moving the football on their first series of the game. Ellinger over the middle, and this one caught again. It's Eagles, and it's T. Denson with the stop.
Well, look at his eyes. They're going to go this direction, Ellinger, and as he sees that safety come down, and actually Elijah Sullivan, he comes down and commits himself to the run game. That's that little RPO, and he delivers it beautifully on time and on target to Brennan Eagles, who had a big day against Iowa State. They're hoping for more consistency out of him.
First down and 10 at the 25 for Texas. Here's Ellinger. Drops it off into the flats to Robinson, and he gets up down the sideline, crushed out of bounds around the 10. Elijah Sullivan really delivering a blow.
I think Sullivan is still down after delivering that blow over on the sideline. They're looking at him. Sullivan started at linebacker most of the year. He was out the last couple of weeks. And Gus, because of the secondary and what is going on with them as far as availability, injuries, they've had some opt-outs, COVID, everything. Elijah Sullivan's actually playing safety today for them on normal down, first and second down, third and short. And they're going to be going with the linebacker, and that's why he was out on the outside, but shaken up after that tackle.
Ellinger 5 for 5 to start this game after the 13-yard gain. First and 10 at the Kansas State 12. Sam Ellinger lobs it in the end zone and incomplete. Schooler, the intended receiver, the Oregon transfer. And that'll bring up second down and 10.
Well, Texas has really established the rhythm with that passing game. They've had a couple of RPOs on this series, letting Ellinger read post-snap what's going on with the defense. Again, this defensive line is so aggressive in getting after the quarterback. Everything Texas is doing is trying to get the ball out of Sam's hand very quickly.
Second down and 10 at the 12-yard line. Ellinger runs the option, pitches it. Here's Robinson, gets downhill, touchdown Longhorns.
Touchdown, Texas.
The Longhorns march it all the way down the field and score on their opening series of the game to take a 6-0 lead.
I mean, Ehlinger does such a good job here of making the defender commit. Cody Fletcher, the linebacker, watches Ehlinger is going to go, and he's going to attack his inside shoulder right here and then pitch it out, forcing the defender to commit. Then Robinson gets the ball with space on the outside, and he's able to get his first collegiate touchdown. Good for him. Great true freshman. Good run there.
Cameron Dicker in for the extra point, and it's good. So Texas scores first. Ehlinger, nice short passes, and Robinson pays it off with the touchdown. 7-0 UT. Big Noon Saturday is presented by AT&T Business. Our people and network will help keep you connected. Let's take care of business. And is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And time for Progressive Game Flow. You're at Bill Snyder Family Stadium here in Manhattan. It was originally named KSU Stadium, but renamed to honor Hall of Fame Coach Bill Snyder by a proclamation of the Board of Regents in 2005. Meanwhile, Sam Ehlinger and the Longhorns strike first blood as they drive it all the way down the field on their opening series and score a touchdown to take a 7-0 lead.
Made it look easy, didn't they?
They certainly did. Cameron Dicker sends it away. This one deep into the end zone for a touchback. Fans voted in Wendy's and Fox College Football. Listen, you're looking at the Wendy's Viewers Choice Cam. Today's camera is focused on Kansas State. Go to @CFB on Fox on Twitter to enjoy this alternative view for the rest of the game.
This defense, Gus, has been really good against the run, and Kansas State has had to really lean on the run game as Will Howard has struggled a little bit throwing the football here down the stretch. Something's got to give here.
And Howard will keep it himself with a lot of running room. Look at him. Howard picking it up and putting him down as he gets inside Texas territory. Chris Brown finally brings him to the turf.
Really good misdirection in the Kansas State backfield. Watch as you're going to get Deuce Vaughn going one way, the fullback and the tailback Trotter going the other way, and the middle of the field just opens up. That's the discipline that Kansas State forces the linebackers to play with.
Hey, partner, I ran that wing tee in high school.
That's
wing tee, right?
Yeah, baby. You got it, but you didn't do it from the shotgun.
No, not at all. We were under center back then.
That's right. They call it the old spinner series. You come out, you can spin around, give the fake.
First down and 10. Howard finds Vaughn, and Vaughn makes the catch.
Hey, something tells me you were dirty in that offense, weren't you?
Man, I tell you what, I was pretty slick. Slowest African-American of all time, though. That was my problem. 9:40 to play here in the first quarter. 7-0. Texas on top of Kansas State.
I think all I'll say after that is I was certainly slow.
I don't know, man. It was bad. 2nd and 7 at the 47.
At least we can talk.
That's right. Here we go. Kansas State running the football. Phillip Brooks. And a nice run as he breaks it back. Brooks on 2nd and 7. Found some daylight.
And you see what
Gains 9.
And you see what they're doing, right? They're bringing all this, the misdirection, the motion, and they force you to really pay attention on defense and know where your gap is. It's very difficult. And Chris Ash, the defensive coordinator for Texas, he was worried about what they do as far as these motions, the jet sweeps, the location of where Deuce Vaughn is. And right now, Kansas State is doing a nice job. Here's Vaughn in motion here.
Play fake, Howard to throw it underneath, and it is incomplete, almost intercepted. Deshaun Jameson trying to dig that football out. Wow.
Boy, and he defended this perfectly. Watch this as he's got great technique here.
Battery 70%.
Right over the top. Howard, that's not an accurate throw. That's going to go back to the inside for his wide receiver, DJ Render.
And, partner, I've seen a lot of improvement with this Texas defense this season.
Well, they're just more sound under Chris Ash. They tackle much better. They're not out of position as much, and they don't give up as many big plays.
2nd down and
Battery 70%.
38. Short drop, far side, ball caught, DJ Render. And Render knocked out of play. Chris Brown again, safety.
I think that play is a great example of what Chris Ash does, right? He wants these players to just line up and go play. Remember, Caden Stearns, their really good safety, he also opted out. B.J. Foster has a hamstring injury. He didn't make the trip. Still on the team, so don't read all those blogs down there in Texas universe. B.J. Foster is just injured. He's got a hamstring injury. But because of all that, he just wants these guys to line up and go play. And that last tackle was evidence of that.
3rd down and 7 at the 35. And this one, did that hit the official? Woo! That'll spin your cap right there.
I think it got him in the face. There was a little bit of contact there. Wow. Yeah, hit him right on top of the hat right there. Oh, my goodness. That's Robert Richardson, our umpire today. Wrong place, wrong time. They're trying to get Phillip Brooks on that middle route.
That brings on Blake Lynch to attempt a 53-yard field goal. And, oh, it hit the upright. No good. So Kansas State comes up empty. Game of inches. 7-0 Texas. Tomorrow, the NFC South leading Saints take on the Falcons. Jared Goff leads the Rams against MVP candidate Kyler Murray and the Cardinals for other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Texas taking over 1st down and 10 at the 35. Ellinger with the handoff straight ahead. Robinson, and he'll be tackled. Make that Roshan Johnson, and he'll be tackled for a loss.
Well, this Texas offense, they wanted to push the pace. You know, Kansas State defensively, they've played pretty well. Last week I thought they played pretty well, but the problem is that they've been so thin as far as their depth goes and their numbers go, that as they get up past that 55, 60, 65 snaps in a game, you can tell they get really tired. And so Texas wants to push the pace, get as many plays as they can.
Longhorn staying on the ground. Johnson again with a lot of running room, and he'll get that football inside Kansas State territory. Kansas State losing to Baylor last week, 32-31 in Waco.
And one of the things that they had last week, a ton of missed tackles, and there's a few there.
On 1st down after the 22-yard gain, Johnson again, the converted quarterback. And he's taken down by Wayne Jones.
You know, you get to this like 3rd, 4th play of the drive, in particular when you've got a little tempo. This is when Texas loves to take a shot. Not going to surprise me at all if they get a little play action here in the next couple of snaps and try to throw one down the field.
2nd down and 7 at the 41 for Sam Ellinger. One of the most decorated players in Texas football history. What a young man, and he'll give this one straight ahead to Johnson, and Johnson picks up another 1st down. Roshan Johnson, the sophomore.
Boy, this makeshift offensive line after Cosme opted out, they've been playing great. Christian Jones moved from right tackle. Now he's the left tackle. Kerstetter had to move from center. He's out at right tackle. You got a true freshman in there, and they're doing a great job in the run game.
13-yard gain. Ellinger over the middle, and he hits his man in stride, Joshua Moore. And Moore with some sure hands. Another 1st down for UT after a 15-yard gain. Here's Ellinger running right now, and Ellinger, he'll be tackled for a loss. Does not get back to the line of scrimmage. T. Denson with the tackle.
Boy, the tempo, though, is borderline frenetic. I mean, they are operating at such a quick tempo right there. Kansas State finally able to stop that 1st down play. And this is one thing that Kansas State wants to do a lot of. If Texas is going to substitute, Kansas State will substitute as well, just to slow the pace of the game down. They'll trot opposite corners on the field and try to slow that tempo down for the Texas Longhorns. Good strategy from the Kansas State defense.
2nd down and 11 at the 14 after the 1-yard loss. Ellinger, empty backfield. Screen underneath, caught, Whittington. And he'll get to the 10. Jones dropping him, along with Jalen Pickle.
Wow, these 3rd and longs inside the 15. You can still get a 1st down. I mean, these are tough from a quarterback standpoint. I've always felt from a quarterback standpoint, this is when you've got to have a #1 receiver, someone with a big frame. I think of Brennan Eagles in this situation as a guy that you've got to maybe target, get into a one-on-one situation, maybe let him win. He's at the top of your screen right now, and with an empty backfield, now he's going to be in the slot. Now they're trying to get a matchup potentially for Eagles on a safety, and if there's no linebackers, watch for the quarterback draw.
3rd down and 8. Ellinger hit as he throws, incomplete. They got some pressure on Sam Ellinger, and that'll make it a 4th down and 8 for Texas.
Well, Bronson Massey comes in here from the tackle position, and check out how he's able to beat the guard. They're running a little bit of a stunt, and then he's able to get to that arm and definitely gets a piece of the ball as Ellinger is trying to throw. Watch right here as Ellinger comes up. Yep, gets part of the arm, and that's what made the ball flutter.
So Cameron Dicker comes on to attempt the field goal. Dicker missed a potential game-tying 58-yarder as time expired last week. This one from 28 yards away. And it's good. Cameron Dicker gives Texas a 10-0 lead on the road here in Manhattan. Well, 10-0, Texas on top of Kansas State. It's not always helpful to look at what could have been, but Texas's 3 losses this season have all been extremely close, losing to TCU by 2 points, and then a rival Oklahoma in 4 overtimes in consecutive weeks. And last week, Cameron Dicker's game tying 58-yard field goal attempt barely missed left as time expired. They say he could have hit that one from 65 if his accuracy would have been on. As this one will be brought out of the end zone. Brooks. And Brooks crosses the 10. And he gets up to the 12. Fox Bet Super 6 has given away over $3 million. And now you can win cash prizes playing the Fox Bet Super 6 PBC boxing contest tonight during the pay-per-view event. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app for free and order the big fight on foxsports.com/pay-per-view. PPV.
You know, those close losses, it is a season that what could have been, right? I mean, legitimately in a 4 overtime game, you know, they had the fumble at the 1-yard line against TCU. Last week they had the kick, they had 4th and 1, they had goal to go and only kicked a field goal.
Oh, and intercepted by Texas. Let's see if they can get it in the end zone. Almost down at the 1. And that's Jaron Thompson with the interception for the Longhorns. And Texas is in business again.
Well, Will Howard never saw Thompson. Check him out. He's going to be right here on the right side of your screen, and he floats over. You can tell that Howard never looks over there, and Howard throws that ball over the middle, not seeing Thompson at all, and it's an INT for Texas. Beautiful job. This is what I was talking about. Lining up correctly, being in the right spot at the right time. This is what has made Texas's defense much better. Now, statistically, you could say, well, they're not that much better, but trust me, in the back half of the year, they have played so much more sound. They're tackling better and creating turnovers.
Second interception of the season for Thompson. 1st and goal at the 3, and Roshan Johnson. Did he get in? Looks like he did. Touchdown, the Longhorns. And Texas takes a 16-0 lead with 4:19 to play in the 1st quarter.
Hey, they got some great push here. All right, here's this offensive line. Like I said, some new faces in there. Majors, the true freshman at center, does a nice job, and Roshan Johnson finds the hole, and he follows that push right into the end zone. What a start for Texas here early in this ball game after just a disappointing loss last week to Iowa State.
Dicker in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. 17-0. Texas off to a terrific beginning here in Manhattan. Thompson with the interception. Roshan Johnson pays it off with the short touchdown. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Ram Trucks, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. And by Wendy's, you can now get a Baconator any time of day with the Breakfast Baconator. Senior Day here in Manhattan. As Skylar Thompson gives his coach a hug. Boy, I tell you what, the Wildcats really miss him.
There's no doubt.
So this ball fielded at the 5-yard line by Phillip Brooks. Brooks up the sideline. Nice burst, and he'll get out of play at the 40. Meanwhile, let's check in with Jenny Taft.
Well, one of the first guys waiting to hug Jaron Thompson after that interception, Sam Ellinger. We had a chat this week just about the ups and downs of the week, specifically, you know, the decision of those teammates who opted out, Caden Stearns and Sam Cosme. They were so excited for Thompson. He's playing in place of Stearns, and of course, the injured Foster. That was a big moment for the freshman, for this defense. And Sam made it very clear, yes, maybe there's not as much pressure for this team, but we want to enjoy it, and you could see the joy and excitement after that play.
All right, thank you, Jenny. First down and 10 at the 36. And Howard keeps it, gets to the sideline, and steps out. What's going on with all this opting out in college football? I mean, what is this about?
Well, this is just such an awkward year, you know. And
you opt out with 2 games left and a bowl game? I mean, who does that?
Well, I mean, several players. And
why, though? Well, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, some would say the whole season doesn't make sense, right? And these guys have to make a decision for their future. I think in a normal year, about this time of year, you would have guys opting out before their bowl game.
Knowles looking for the first. He's close.
And I think we need to remember, while we think of it as still kind of, you know, it's a tail end of the season, there's still a few weeks left. Remember, this would normally be conference championship game weekend in a normal season. And a lot of these teams, and remember now, we've got influencers outside of the program around these players. You know, scouts are hovering around. They're telling them, hey, you need to opt out. You need to start preparing. And so there are voices in a lot of these kids' ears during the course of the year. And right now is when those voices start getting really loud. And I think that's why you've seen so many of those types of decisions around college football.
And they'll run it. Howard again picks up the first down and gets even more. I don't know, partner. To me, it's starting to look real selfish to leave your teammates, opt out on your teammates like this at the end of the season.
No, I would hesitate on that, because I think it's just a different year, right? We just have to view this as a year that we have to view completely differently. And by the way, we'll probably talk about that when we start talking about the future of this program at Texas and how you evaluate it and what's going on in all of these decisions.
Howard on the play fake with time, throws it deep down the field, has a receiver. Oh, incomplete. Jabastion Taylor had 2 hands on the ball, but Brown comes in at the end and just knocks it out of his hands. And Jamison as well. And Taylor is down.
Is a good ball from Will Howard. It's a good throw, but again, the coverage is there. This team, they are in position. This defense is getting better and better, and you see the coverage, the ability to play physical because they're in position, and Chris Brown with terrific coverage coming in from that opposite side as Deshaun Jamison was trying to break that up from behind.
So that makes it 2nd down and 10 at the 43. Howard throwing a nice ball. Great defense, though, by Texas. Brown and Jamison combining to break that pass up.
Taylor still down inside the 5-yard line. He's got shaken up as Brown came in with the hit.
And Jabastion Taylor getting up slowly. He's a junior from Giddings, Texas. Great looking prospect. 6'4", 223 pounds.
The secondary again without Caden Stearns. And now you're seeing Jaron Thompson, number 28, already has an interception. Chris Brown, the senior from Houston, he has been playing really well so far today. A couple of nice tackles. We've seen Jamison now with a couple of pass breakups as well. So the secondary playing well, even in a depleted numbers situation.
2nd down and 10 at the 43. Howard, quarterback keeper. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Well defended by this UT defense as they bring him down.
That front
Thompson.
That front four is playing really good football against the run. A guy that I think I know he goes notice, and he had a monster game against Oklahoma State, but Joseph Osai, number 46, he's really the guy that can cause trouble for the opposing offense. He's going to be at the bottom of your screen, the defensive end, and he is very athletic and can get after the quarterback.
3rd down and 11 at the 44 over the middle. Oh, nice catch by Knowles as he goes up high to get it. Still on his feet, breaks the tackle and gets inside the 20. Malik Knowles finally brought down by Josh Thompson, but another big gain, this one for 25 yards.
And a really good throw from Howard. Watch as he's got to throw it over Overshown, 0. Overshown is 6'4", former safety, great length, and he's got to get up and over that hand, almost tipped it, and Knowles is able to bring it down and move the chains. Nice execution there from the K-State offense.
Makes it 1st down and 10 at the 19-yard line for Kansas State. Closing minutes of the 1st quarter. Howard under pressure, trying to buy himself some time, and he throws this one out of bounds.
Well, that's just a total missed assignment up front, as Jacoby Jones came absolutely free from his defensive end position, was right in the face of Will Howard. And again, they've got a decimated offensive line as well. 3 guys that have started at guard for them during the course of this year out. Now they've got Duffy at right tackle. They've had to put Katori Levinson at left tackle. Cooper Beebe goes to left guard. I mean, all of these moving parts, sometimes you're going to have those missed assignments.
2nd down and 10 at the 19-yard line. They give it to Deuce. Deuce, oh, what a shifty move. Deuce on the loose again. Touchdown, K-State. Deuce Vaughn. Lightning in a bottle in the Little Apple.
Man, his quickness in the short areas, making people miss in a phone booth. First, Vaughn is going to head to his right, and the first cut is impressive right here. Sets him up outside, boom, and then he goes right back to the inside on Overshown, and right here, boom, slides to his right. Now he slides back to his right. Vaughn is just so good, has great vision, peripheral vision to get himself in those little slide moves and get into the end zone. This guy's a sensational player. Love watching him play football. He is small in stature, but huge in impact.
6th rushing touchdown of the year last week against Baylor. 19 carries, 102 yards. He's a freshman, folks. Wow, is he electric. So much fun to watch this season. We saw him early in the year.
Yeah.
Day 1 against Arkansas State. Then we saw him at Oklahoma. Now getting a chance to see Deuce and the Wildcats against Texas.
I think he could have, I mean, kind of goes without saying, but just a monster career because of his ability to impact the game, both as a runner, like you see on this last touchdown run, and out of the backfield, or even lined up as a wide receiver catching the football. He is, at least comes into this game as their leading rusher and leading receiver, one of 2 FBS players with 500 rush yards and 300 receiving yards this season. The other is the do-everything, amazing All-American Travis Etienne from Clemson. So Deuce Vaughn in some rarefied air, even as a true freshman.
And how did they let him out of the state of Texas? He's from Round Rock, Texas. As Thompson has ushered off the field. And Round Rock, Texas is just north of Austin. What happened there, partner?
Well, they got a kid named Bijan Robinson who was rated as, you know, the top back in the country coming out of Tucson, Arizona. And Bijan is a heck of a player. And, you know, those are the decisions you got to make as a coaching staff. Not that Deuce isn't a terrific player and he isn't going to have a terrific career, but, you know, Bijan at 6 foot, 222 pounds, the top back in the country, he's certainly going to have a great career for Texas as well.
So another 5 foot 5 inch player comes on the field. It's Blake Lynch. Extra point, good. Deuce Vaughn, Blake Lynch putting 7 on the board for K-State. Deuce exciting the crowd here, and Kansas State will take it. Kansas State scores in 8 plays, covering 64 yards, holding the ball for 3 minutes and 19 seconds. And on that drive, the key play, that Malik Knowles 25-yard catch and run. Deuce Vaughn with the touchdown, his 6th of the season.
Boy, big answer, too, because it looked like this game could get away from Kansas State. Remember, it was just a couple of weeks ago that Iowa State beat them 45-0, Gus, and with all the momentum for Texas, that was a huge drive for their offense and Will Howard.
Line drive will be fielded inside the 5 by Deshaun Jamison. Jamison striding. And Jamison gets across the 40 up to the 42. Built for Success is presented by Rocket Mortgage. For the personalized playbook on home loans, Rocket can.
Who are you, Sam?
Chris Sims, Tom New York.
You're Chris Sims?
Sam Ehlinger, after 4 years in Texas, Sam has fulfilled that promise he made at just 2 years old and then some. Ranked 2nd all-time in every stat to just Colt McCoy, Sam Ehlinger will go down as one of Texas's greatest players of all time, and he knew it when he was a Deuce. 2 years old, Sam Ehlinger. Now leading Texas, and they'll run it with Bijan Robinson. And Gaines makes the tackle.
Let's see if they can get another snap. I'm assuming they will. They've been running with so much tempo here. As you see, the most career starts, 42 starts for Sam Ehlinger. One of the reasons why they had such high expectations this year.
2nd down and 7 at the 44. Robinson again. 1st down. Again, lower his shoulder. Power running in Texas. They call that smash mouth football. 15-yard gain.
You just asked me how they let Deuce Vaughn get out of the state. That dude was coming like a freight train.
He's not bad. 1st and 10 at the 41. Ehlinger to the sideline. And Ehlinger completes it. Another 1st down for Texas. Eagles with the reception. Gain of 11, and that'll take us to the end of the 1st quarter. Texas with the lead. And driving. Back to Manhattan right after this. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. 17-7 Texas looking for their 6th win of the season. Leading Kansas State. UT 1st down and 10 at the 30-yard line. Bijan Robinson in the backfield with Sam Ehlinger. And they'll give it to him. Slicing, dicing at the 20, still on the move. Touchdown, Longhorns. Bijan Robinson, the freshman from Tucson. Another touchdown. His 2nd today. And the Longhorns take a 23-7 lead.
Give a lot of credit to the offensive line. They cover everybody up, right? Hats for hats. That's the terminology you use on the offensive line. But just a great cut by Robinson. He's going to take off to the right, and here's the vision. This is just instinctive running right here. He sees it over to the left, and then boom, right there. He gets a little bit thin and goes right up the field for a touchdown. Terrific run for Bijan Robinson out of Tucson, Arizona.
Robinson and Rashawn Johnson now have 100 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns between them. The 2nd quarter just getting started. Bijan Robinson bouncing in the end zone again. Texas up big. Bijan Robinson ran for 113 yards against West Virginia 2 games back. The first 100-yard game of his career, and he's still playing extremely well, especially today. 2 rushing touchdowns, and Texas takes a 24-7 lead.
It was just a matter of time when this guy got onto campus, right? Stepped foot on campus, that he was going to make an impact, and you're starting to see that here at the tail end of the season.
4 carries, 60 yards already for Bijan. 5 carries, 40 yards for Rashawn Johnson.
Let's take a look at the team comparison sponsored by Credible.com, and there's those rushing yards. 100 between Robinson and Johnson. Ehlinger lost a yard on his carry, so they only got 99 as a team, but that turnover costly for Kansas State. Texas quickly turned that into a touchdown. And now, as Kansas State answered the last touchdown, their offense has got to go out there and sustain a drive, keep their defense on the sideline, and try to get 7 out of this drive as well.
1st down and 10 at the 25. And Howard keeps it. Nice quarterback run
by Will Howard as he's taken down by Jaron Thompson.
There's just so much to look at for the linebackers, and they're getting a little bit confused. Juwan Mitchell and DeMarvion Overshown were out of position on that last play, and again, it's because of all what'd you call it, the wing tee?
That's right.
I mean, they've got like this diamond set going. They don't have it on this one, but they got so much crossing action that it's tough on those linebackers to stay in their gap.
2nd and 4 at the 31. Howard goes through his progressions, finds Deuce. And Deuce Vaughn, another big grab. Thompson sticks him, but Deuce picks up 21.
Here on the left side, you're going to watch Deuce Vaughn. He's got what's called a two-way go. He can go left or right. So we used to call this a jerk route. Darren Sproles ran this amazing in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey at Stanford, Alvin Kamara, and this is Deuce Vaughn studies all those guys, right? He sets up Overshown on the outside, gets to the inside. Beautiful read from Howard and a great ball.
First down at the 49. Vaughn hits the edge, cuts it inside. High step it, Deuce Vaughn again. Down at the 24, Chris Brown gets him. But Deuce now really expressing himself. 24-yard gain. He had a 20-yard gain on the previous play.
Well, these freshman backs are having a day, aren't they?
Yes,
oh my goodness, I tell you. And by the way, great blocking on the right side of that offensive line. There's a huge hole on that right side for Deuce Vaughn to get around that edge and create another first down.
First down at the 27. Trotter in the game. Play fake. Howard looking. Sideline. Almost intercepted. Wow. Dangerous throw. Jaron Thompson in the vicinity again.
Man, Thompson is a really good player. Folks, when you're watching him from up top, you just see this flash across the top of the formation. He reacts well. He should have had that one. That would have been his second pick of the game. And the coaching staff, Chris Ash in particular, told us Jaron Thompson is just a freshman, and we get that, but I'm so excited to watch him play. He has been showing out in practice, proving that he needs time. Now with Caden Stearns opt-out, he gets that chance.
2nd and 10. Brooks. And Brooks wrestled down at the 20. Alfred Collins with the tackle.
And again, we get that the side motion, the sweeps motion. They're trying to get as much confusion going with that linebacker core. And right now they're doing a heck of a job, and that offensive line is doing a really nice job up front, covering up those defensive line. This defensive line has been very difficult to move, but Kansas State has gotten some good movement here in the last couple of series.
3rd down and 3 at the 20-yard line. Leonard's a motion man, the tight end. Howard in trouble and sacked. Great pressure by that Texas defense. Joseph Osai leading the way.
Well, this is a mismatch right here because Osai is working on a true freshman tackle. Carver Willis is getting into the game for the first time, number 77. And you can see Osai is just too powerful for him. He takes his hands down, gets around the edge, and does a great job of running that corner and getting to Howard for the sack.
10-yard loss, first sack of the game for Texas. Makes it 4th down and 13. Kansas State electing to go for it. 3 receivers at the top of your screen. And a timeout now by K-State. Will step away. Decision to make for the Wildcats, down 24-7. Millions of kids nationwide are without normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Help keep kids in the game by texting play to the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game. So here's Blake Lynch in to attempt a 48-yard field goal. He missed from 53, barely, and this one perfect. So Kansas State adds 3, 24-10 here in the second quarter.
If sweat is your body's beer's natural way of cooling itself down. Then condensation is a beer's natural way of saying, drink me. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
24-10, Blake Lynch with a beautiful field goal to keep Kansas State in this game. And Kansas State got off to, conference-wise, a good start. Skylar Thompson got hurt. Howard came in, did a nice job, but since then, they've really struggled over their last four.
Yeah, and the consistency, you know, trying to find that at least from a young quarterback has been difficult for him. Last week they had a great chance to win, unable to make a few plays late, and Brewer and the Baylor Bears kind of came back on them.
Kansas State opened up conference play 4-0, but have lost 4 straight since. They went to the sideline. This one will go out of bounds around the 20. The Longhorns, how about them? They suffered 3 consecutive losing seasons for the first time since 1938 in the 3 years before Tom Herman came to Texas. Herman's tenure hasn't been perfect, but he has delivered 3 winning seasons, a Big 12 championship game appearance, and 3 bowl wins, including a win in the 2019 Sugar Bowl over Georgia. And coming into this game, all the talk is that Texas may be looking to replace him. And one name is at the top of the list, according to these reports, is our own Urban Meyer. Ellinger near side. And it's caught Jake Smith. Smith makes a tackle, picks up a first down and more.
Well, I think it's important to stick with the facts in stories like this. And here are the facts. Is that the program is much better now than it was when Tom Herman first got there. There's no doubt. And then, even according to him, they have fallen short of expectations this season.
Gallagher handing it up. Robinson running.
And that's fair. And you know, you can be on both sides of this argument that, you know, that they certainly need to make a change, or that there's no reason in a COVID year in which they're 4 snaps from being perfect, or certainly had a chance to reach those expectations in a year in which they changed so many coaches, right? I mean, again, Gus, there's all sides of the argument. I think from a player standpoint, what is more harmful is all the speculation, and that's what really hurts programs.
Gallagher dumping it off to Robinson with a burst of speed. Robinson, oh, look at him break tackles. Look at his kid. Dijon Robinson, okay. As Jalen Pickle finally stops him.
Yeah, they got a star here. They got something really, really good with Bijan Robinson. He is going to be a heck of a player. Well, he already is, certainly. And now he's going to be for the future here for Texas. They've got to be excited about what they have.
27-yard gain. Ellinger almost intercepted. Wow. Intended for Eagles, but Keandre Thomas looked up and the ball was coming right at him.
And just to, you know, button up what I was talking about, Gus, we were close and did the Holiday Bowl last year with USC, who was going through the same type of speculation and uncertainty surrounding the program, and it really hurt the program from a recruiting standpoint. You're starting to see that with Texas right now, and you know, I would just say, like, listen, a decision needs to be made one way or another, and in a year like this where the early signing day is actually before the last game of the season for most teams, it's a difficult proposition.
Ellinger running it, pitches it. Smith makes a nice move, and he'll get past the line of scrimmage. I mean, when you look at Tom Herman, he's 45 years old. He's done a very solid job. He hasn't won the big game. And it just makes me think of that old saying, partner. The grass is not greener on the other side, it's just more grass.
Yeah, not always. He had three top 10 recruiting classes. But at the same time, and I told you sat right next to me. I told him right to his face in our meeting, our Zoom face. It's like, listen, you fell short of expectations, and you played to your competition. And he said, yeah, you can't argue with that. He knows that that's true.
Underneath, caught. Eagles. First down, Texas.
I think that's the frustration from the fan base's standpoint, is that they don't put the hammer down and play dominant football as often as they would like.
First down at the 14.
I remember the end of the Mac Brown era and all of the Charlie Strong era. It's much better now. Ellinger. Flats. Jared Wiley.
But more so than anything else, the uncertainty is what really kills programs. You know, and you just gotta, it's like a Band-Aid. And I'm not saying you have to rip it. I'm not saying you got to go either direction. I'm just saying a direction has to be picked as soon as possible. And that's to allow the players to have the most success that they possibly can moving forward. And from that perspective, you know, I think Chris Del Conte will evaluate after the season and make his decision.
Second down to 3 at the 7. Johnson. Touchdown, Texas.
Boy, it's been easy offensively for Texas, hasn't it?
Especially running the ball the way they are running the ball, with Robinson and Johnson just attacking the heart of this Kansas State defense.
I tell you what, this offensive line is doing a heck of a job. They don't care who's out there, and I got to give major props to Jake Majors, true freshman, stepping in at center. Center is bright there. The offensive line, nobody around Roschon Johnson. We've seen a couple of runs like that from Bijan Robinson as well. These backs going in with like an escort into the end zone.
So with 8:17 to go in the second quarter, Texas with 31 points on the board. Back to K-State after this. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Verizon, the network more people rely on gives you more. A beautiful statue of Coach Snyder. And I'm sure he would like to see the Wildcats playing a little bit better. And right now, Texas having no problems running the football on them. The combination of Roschon Johnson and Bijan Robinson paying major dividends for Texas. 31-10 with 8:17 to go in the second quarter. Cameron Dicker sends it away. Another deep kick out of the end zone for a touchback. Tonight, it's the fight event of the fall as undefeated Errol Spitz Jr. takes on Danny Garcia for the World Welterweight Championship. Available on pay-per-view or buy the fight on foxsports.com/PPV and watch on any screen you want. And, you know, after watching Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, two 50-year-old guys go at it, I loved it. I thought it was a great fight.
It wasn't a draw.
Yes, it was.
I mean, Iron Mike won the fight.
Yeah, he did, but it was nice to see it was a draw.
Ribbons for everybody.
That's right. Everybody gets a trophy. Meanwhile, a trophy on the field for Texas as they pick up a loose ball, and it looks like a turnover. And that's Jacoby Jones picking it up. Kansas State turning it over once again.
Look, Vaughn is not expecting this ball at all. Look at he's just going, and he's like, oh, it's just a fake. And then he's running like he believes that it's a play-action pass. And then he turns around and he's like, what is going on? So a miscommunication in the backfield between the two freshmen, Will Howard and Deuce Vaughn. The mesh and the ball security of the mesh between the quarterback and the running back is always the responsibility of the quarterback.
Second turnover of the first half for Kansas State. First down, Texas at the K-State 16. Bijan Robinson in the game. Right next to Sam Ellinger. Here's Bijan with a burst, and he'll get to the 10.
I love how physical he runs. You know, unblocked player on the end of the line of scrimmage there. And he didn't try to dance away. He just lowered his shoulder, and he got, Gus, what, 4 or 5 extra yards after contact? I love it when running backs are able to do that. I call it be your own blocker at times, BYOB. You got to get physical, and number 5 sure did that.
He's a big fella, 6 feet, 222 pounds as a freshman. Ellinger in trouble, and Sam Ellinger sacked.
Kansas State had 7 sacks last week, 6 in the first half. Wayne Hubert, who's having a terrific year, gets to the quarterback. And there's an injured player on the field.
That's Kerstetter, Derek Kerstetter, the offensive tackle. And folks, we're going to go to break. This does not look good.
(31-10), folks, our score. Texas with the lead. There's an injured Longhorn on the field, Derek Kerstetter. And folks, it's a very bad injury. We're not going to show you the replay of this injury because of how nasty it looks. But Derek Kerstetter is being looked at. Normally starting offensive lineman at the center position, not playing center today. And he's being looked at on the field as we speak.
Kerstetter is a senior from San Antonio. Has been in conversations with the coaching staff about whether this would be his last year or not. Again, because of COVID, they do have the opportunity to come back and take part with their scholarship next year. Kerstetter starting his 27th game of his career here for the Longhorns, and while they're continuing to work on him, we will step away.
Wedding day, huh, boys? Been there, done that. Twice.
Your cousin from Boston.
Karen, I'm just gonna say what everyone here is thinking. You look smoking. Total smoke show. And they never did find his finger. They had to close the pool for like an hour. I brought a date named Sam. Dig in. Love is like Boston Lager. Rich, complex, and it's over too soon. Right, Chrissy?
So ashamed I overpaid for this used car, I decided to go undercover.
Remember, if you don't see me, you're not seeing the most accurate price. Shop at Carfax. You won't have to overpay on a used car again. Shop millions of great deals at the all-new Carfax.com.
I'm made to move, but these days, I'm not getting out as much as I'd like to. That's why I take Osteo Biflex. It helps with occasional joint stiffness, while it nourishes and strengthens my joints for the long term. Osteo Biflex, because I'm made to move.
And Derek Kerstetter has been lifted and put on the cart to be taken into the locker room as his teammates give him some positive energy before he heads off.
An emotional moment, even for us up here, obviously for the players on both sidelines. Certainly thinking about Derek and his family. His mother, Julie, was a basketball player. His father, Devin, played football at West Texas State. His brother, Drew, played tight end at the Colorado School of Mines. Obviously an athletic family. And we are going to be praying for Derek as we continue to attend to him and get him the medical care that he's going to need here in short order. I do think it's important, Gus. We've said it's severe. It is a lower extremity. It was his left leg.
So I'm sure Jenny Taft will try her best to get as much information as quickly as she can on the status of Derek Kerstetter as he's taken off the field for Texas. (31-10) our score. Texas leading Kansas State. 7:26 to play here in the second quarter.
It just makes the game feel so secondary. You know, I mean, not only for us, I'm sure for you at home, and now for the players and his teammates. And yeah, you got to imagine what's going through the mind of some of these seniors, like Ellinger, who's been with Derek their entire career here. And gosh, the game seems so unimportant, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. 3rd down and 11 at the 17 for Texas. 7:26 to go, second quarter. Texas with a 5-3 record. They're playing here today, and they will take on Kansas in Lawrence next week. Empty backfield for Sam Ellinger. Ellinger to throw it. Underneath, and it's caught. Smith, and Jake Smith wrapped up immediately by A.J. Parker. Very good open field tackle by Parker, the senior from Oklahoma.
That brings up 4th down, and now Texas is going to have to kick. So a nice stop and a hold there from the Kansas State defense.
Cameron Dicker comes in to attempt a 30-yarder. It is no good. Cameron Dicker missing the 30-yard field goal, usually automatic from those areas.
What a big win there for the Kansas State defense. Forcing the kick, Dicker missing the kick, and now they get to put their offense back on the field. Remember, that drive started, if I'm not mistaken, with that turnover from Will Howard and Deuce Vaughn. So a nice stop for the K-State defense as Dicker just misses it left.
Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket can. And by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. (31-10), Texas leading Kansas State here in the second quarter. And the Wildcats will get the football back. 1st down and 10 at the 20-yard line. Deuce Vaughn in the backfield with Skylar Thompson. Excuse me, with Will Howard. Skylar Thompson out. Now Howard handing it off to Vaughn. And Deuce Vaughn wrapped up quickly. Osai gobbles him up in the backfield.
I think Osai is turning into an elite player. He's got a really bright future, and he's a guy that had to kind of change positions and has been learning his way here as more of a defensive end. And here he does a great job. This is what you would call the two-way player as a defensive end. Not just a great pass rusher, but can play really solid in the run defense on normal down.
2nd down and 11. They find Trotter out of the backfield. Harry Trotter, the senior, stopped by Overshown. Overshown, I tell you, he's a terrific-looking young player.
Man, he's long, so he changed from safety down to linebacker. Chris Ash, the defensive coordinator, telling us he's also one of those guys that with more reps, more development, is going to be an elite player, and he's starting to hit that stride a little bit here late in the season. And right there, you see the closing speed on that 2nd down.
3rd down and 5 at the 25 for Will Howard at K-State. Howard to the sideline, lofts it in the air, and it's caught. Malik Knowles, another great catch for 1st down, this time for Malik Knowles.
And this was a confident throw from Will Howard. This is a long pass to throw out to the outside, basically outside of the numbers, from hash to outside of the numbers, and that's a tight window. Decent defense, but he's got to throw it outside, and Knowles is able to reach out and extend and move the chains.
So on 3rd and 5, Kansas State gets 12. 1st and 10 at the 37. Vaughn with room. Deuce Vaughn, another 1st down as he gets the midfield. Chris Brown upends him.
Well, they do a nice job here. Watch as you're going to get the center pulling around, and you're also going to get the guard that kind of moves up to that 2nd level, and they just slide out to the right like that, and then they get covered up. Boom, great block right there. Excellent job, in particular number 50, Cooper Beebe, getting up to the 2nd level, and Vaughn reads the blocks well, cuts back, and moves the chains again.
Deuce Vaughn at 13 yards on the play.
A first down for Kansas State, and now the Wildcats take a timeout.
Second charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
In the meantime, 30-second timeout. Let's check in with Rob Stone and the guys. Rob.
All right, Gus, thank you. Coming up on the State Farm halftime, how are the 4th-ranked decimated Buckeyes doing at Michigan State? Plus, number 5, Texas A&M. They auditioned for the playoff committee at Auburn. And number 15, Oklahoma State, looking to keep their Big 12 title hopes alive. Joel, Gus, we'll see you guys at the break.
All right, thank you very much, Rob. I think Texas A&M is one of the big surprises of the college football season, how well they played this year.
Well, they were getting a lot better last year. The problem is that division last year was ridiculously tough. Auburn was great. Obviously, LSU was had the best season in college football history with Joe Burrow. Alabama was only a 1-loss team with Tua. You know, and so they were getting better, but it didn't show in their record. Now they have the benefit of not as difficult a schedule, and they've done a heck of a job, including that big win against Florida.
On first down, Howard with the keeper. Short gain, Alfred Collins with the tackle for Texas.
And by the way, their success, don't think it's not lost on these Longhorns. You know, in a year in which the Longhorns are falling a little bit short, and I think that also adds fire to that speculation fire. Right, or excuse me, fuel to that speculation fire about the future of Tom Herman is what Jimbo Fisher has been able to do in College Station and the way that he's been able to recruit.
Second down and 9 at the 49. And the keeper, Will Howard. A misdirection with Kansas State today. It's effective. Howard with a 5-yard gain.
And especially on that last play, Texas decided to walk the linebackers up and blitz DeMarvion Overshown, number 0. And when you do that, there's no levels in your defense. So all you need is one little crease, and you can get a big gain out of the run. And Howard does a nice job reading that off the jet sweep and gets a few yards.
Third down and 4 at the 44. Howard delivers underneath. Knowles again with the catch, and another first down for Malik Knowles. He's having a terrific first half. Anthony Cook with the stop.
This is the exact same play that they used on the previous third down to get a completion. It was just flipped the opposite direction. Watch as Knowles is going to get up, gets away with a little shove right there, but then he's got the out route and a confident throw again from Will Howard. When I was watching tape of Will Howard, you can tell he's got the arm talent, but at times he doesn't step in and use his lower body to drive with velocity. Here he's doing a nice job of throwing the ball with that authority.
Knowles, 4 catches, 59 yards in the first half. Howard reading. Lobs it. Deuce Vaughn. Did he get a foot in? Let's see. Yes, he did. They call it a completion.
Unbelievable. Gus, guys like this don't show up. They're like unicorns, right? And I know we've had a few of the last few years, but running backs that have this type of receiving ability. You know, I know Malik Knowles is good and Sebastian Taylor is good, but Deuce Vaughn takes it to another level. He might be the best receiver that they've got on the team. He runs precise routes. He's got body control, great hands. He understands his foot placement there along the sideline. What a heck of a catch there.
Gain of 10, first down Kansas State at the Texas 19. Howard. And incomplete. That one thrown in the end zone for Briley Moore.
Good coverage by Chris Brown. Briley Moore is a guy that has transferred in. He's a senior, and he's one of their top weapons, but Texas has been able to take him away a little bit, and Briley's production has gone down, as has the rest of the wide receivers after Skylar Thompson got hurt.
Second down and 10 of the 19. Howard over the middle. He's got his man, and it's Deuce Vaughn again for first down. Overshown hauls him down with Deuce Vaughn with a gain of 12.
And this route is just too good. Look, as you can give him a little shoulder to the outside, and boom, he just sticks it inside. And with an empty set, no running backs in the backfield, That linebacker is on an island. Texas is playing pretty conservatively with open coverage. That means 2 safeties in the middle of the field, right? Open, the middle field open. That's going to leave the linebacker on an island on that side.
First down and goal at the 7. The league knows in motion. They give it to him. Jet sweep, turns it up, and goes down inside the 5. Chris Brown defensively for UT.
Boy, Chris Brown's playing well, isn't he? He continues, whether it's been in coverage today or his ability to fill the alley from the safety position and defend the run from a support perspective. And he comes up and makes a nice tackle on that outside leg, wrapping him up.
The game clock to 1 minute, 26 seconds. 30-second timeout.
31-10, 1:25 to go, second quarter. Back after this. Rob Stone, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matty Fresh, along with Coach Meyer, are standing by for the State Farm halftime show. Second down and goal at the 4-yard line for K-State. Here's Vaughn. Whoa, what a nice stutter step. Oh, Stubbs Vaughn, touchdown. Kansas State. Oh, whoa.
How about that move? I thought the first move, Gus, was really good right there. I was like, oh, man. And then I thought he was going to put his shoulders down and then whoop. I love this guy, man. I was just about to say, hey, you know, the small stature running back, you get inside the 5, that's a hard time to give him the ball. But, boy, not when he can make you miss in a phone booth.
My first job in Waco, Texas, there was a kid that played for Waco High for a man by the name of Johnny Tusa. His name was Lewis Fight. He used to do stuff like this, but only it was a somersault in the end zone. Give Deuce some time. He may get there.
He may.
All right, don't forget, you can find all of Joel's Breaking the Huddle content, including his weekly top 10, at foxsports.com, the Fox Sports app, and CFB on Fox social platforms. You have to put that show on, that play on your show, Joel.
You know, we do an X's and O's segment every single week, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I could break that play down. And the analysis would be, I'm better than you.
That's right.
That's it. I mean, he just like, that move was incredible.
More importantly, Kansas State gets 7 points on the board, 31-17, with 1:20 remaining in the second quarter. Jamison will get to the 30-yard line before being wrapped up. Let's go downstairs and check in with Jenny.
Well, Gus, you know, the hardest part of our job are these injury updates. I can tell you Derek Kerstetter, he has left for a local hospital. And what I can confirm that his parents were here in attendance. And I think that's just important to note, considering the uniqueness of this season. Sometimes parents aren't here. Sam Ellinger spent a lot of time talking to Coach Herman after the injury. And he and Kerstetter extremely close. And no doubt the Longhorns playing with Kerstetter on their mind right now.
All right. Thank you very much, Jenny. First down and 10 at the 31. Ellinger pulls it down, and Ellinger submarines across the line of scrimmage. Wyatt Hubert, as well as Massey, combining on the tackle, and Hubert may have gotten his bell rung.
Yeah, shaken up there at the end. Hubert is having a monster season, 7.5 sacks on the year. It's the Big 12 leader in that category, tied for second in the Big 12 with his 12 tackles for loss. He came in as a preseason all Big 12 candidate. Just a great motor, a really good player, terrific in the pass rush. He's aggressive. There just kind of got caught up and shaken up at the end of the play.
So Wayne walking off on his own. Excuse me, Wyatt walking off on his own.
Minute 2 is still a lot of time for Kansas here. They got a couple of timeouts left. They haven't taken a shot down the field. Remember, this is a team that loves to take a shot down the field. The problem is that they don't have their normal offensive line. Now Kerstetter is down. They got to feel like protection might be an issue.
Second down and long.
Here's a handoff, and it's Johnson trying to get around the corner. He will not. Terrific pursuit by the Kansas State defense. Yeah, Daniel Green leading the way.
I understand, you know, trying to pop a run here to get yourself going, but that just seems real safe. And now all of a sudden you're in a position where Kansas State will get the ball back. They do have a timeout left. And Ehlinger has got to be careful with the football here. You don't want to force it and give Kansas State amazing field position by giving them a turnover.
Johnson in motion out of the backfield. Ehlinger underneath, and it's Whittington. And Whittington is tackled immediately at the line of scrimmage. Cody Fletcher, the senior, with the stop. Timeout Kansas State. Texas facing a 4th and long. (31-17) Texas. And the Longhorns facing a 4th and 12. They will punt it for the first time. Cameron Dicker is now the punter as well.
Normal punter Ryan Buchevsky tore his ACL a couple of weeks ago, covering a punt, so now Dicker's handling all the kicking duties.
Phillip Brooks, the deep man for K-State, standing at the 29.
A lot of credit to this Kansas State defense. The last couple of series, they showed up after a turnover, get the ball back to their offense after Dicker missed a field goal, and now getting off the field here inside of a minute.
Punted twice, Dicker, for 40.5-yard average against Iowa State. This one is fair, caught inside the 30 with 34 seconds remaining for Kansas State.
That last series, Texas had moved the ball so well. I thought it was a bit conservative there from the Longhorns with as dominant as they had been. However, you do have to understand from a play calling and a head coach's perspective from the Texas side, you know, they are decimated on the offensive line. Cosme opts out. Now Kerstetter goes down. You're mixing and matching up front. The last thing they wanted to do, I'm sure, is just allow that pass rush to get after him with Sam Ehlinger back in the pocket.
Trotter straight ahead. And he'll gain 2. Tackle made by Chris Brown.
Well, after a play like that, you got to assume that Chris Kleinman is just ready to go into the locker room, and if Tom Herman is going to oblige and not use one of his timeouts, then that'll be the last play of the half.
So 31-17, our halftime score. Texas, well played first half for Tom Herman's Longhorns. Time now for Rob Stone and the guys with the State Farm halftime show. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Welcome back to Bill Snyder Family Stadium here in Manhattan, Kansas. Big 12 matchup as Texas leads K-State 31-17 as we start the second half. Gus Johnson along with Joel Klatt. We saw some good running.
Yes.
From 3 very, very good running backs in the first half.
I mean, listen, all 3 of these guys getting after it. A couple for Texas, and then obviously the freshman Deuce Vaughn for Kansas State. We'll start with our second half connection brought to you by AT&T Business, keeping your business connected now with 5G nationwide. Here's the first touchdown. Ehlinger does a great job on this option. He gets the defender to commit, pitches it out, easy touchdown for Bijan Robinson. This was a terrific run here. See how he gets skinny, and then he gets physical, runs through an arm tackle, and then the speed to take it into the end zone. Rashawn Johnson has had a big half. 44 rushing yards, a couple of scores, and then to do everything back, Deuce Vaughn for Kansas State. Gus, if they're going to come back in this game, it's going to be because Deuce Vaughn has a huge day. And for Texas, they've got to continue to pound away with the run game. Texas, 17 rushes, 108 yards, 6.5 per carry, and 4 touchdowns. They got to bleed this game out. Protect Sam Ehlinger. Remember, that offensive line is down a few starters. That run game's got to be huge here in the second half.
So Texas will get the ball to start the second half. In the meantime, let's go downstairs and check in with Jenny.
Well, before I even had a chance to ask Coach Kleiman a question, he said, we can't turn the ball over. That has plagued this team. We got to clean it up. We got to tackle better. And Joel, like you mentioned, Deuce Vaughn has been the energy for their offense. And he looked at me and said, boy, I'm happy number 22 is a freshman because this is just the beginning. There is no easy way to put it for Texas. It really took so much out of this team to lose a senior, Derek Kerstetter. But you know what Coach Herman said to his guys? He said Derek would be pissed if he realized we were hanging our heads for him. I expect a response in the second.
All right, Jenny, thank you very much. Kerstetter, an emotional leader, one of the big leaders on this Texas team. 1st and 10 at the 25. Ellinger has that one batted down right in his face. Wayne Jones.
Yeah, great play from Wayne Jones. They're trying to run that little RPO, and what they're doing is they're sliding the safety down into Ellinger's face. So one, he can't run, and then they're trying to muddy up that passing lane, and Jones does a great job of jumping up and batting that ball down.
2nd down and 10 at the 25 for Texas. Robinson trying to get downhill. Does! Whoa, watch out! Bijan Robinson, can he get there? What a burst touchdown! Texas! Again, Bijan Robinson. His 3rd rushing touchdown of the game. And Texas takes a 37-17 advantage.
I tell you what, this is such a great run, and the balance at contact to stay on his feet. First of all, look at the athleticism from this offensive line. Check out these guys getting out and running. Junior Ongelau, the freshman, Jake Majors at center getting his first start. They get out there, great push, and then the balance. The hand goes down for Robinson. He stays on his feet, and then the Jets. How about the speed down the sideline for Bijan Robinson for another touchdown?
Robinson, 7 carries, 140 yards with a long of 75 for a touchdown. His 3rd touchdown of the day. Texas 38, K-State 17. No matter where you're watching from this season, we're celebrating fans everywhere. Sponsored by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. And for the record, folks, we miss you guys so much. Can't wait till you get back and join us at the game. Kansas State will start at the 10, Phillip Brooks. And he'll get all the way up to the 25. Fox Bet Super 6 has given away over $3 million, and now you can win cash prizes playing the Fox Bet Super 6 PBC boxing contest tonight during the pay-per-view event. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app for free and order the big fight on foxsports.com/PPV. Folks, if you want to watch a good fight, this is going to be a good one tonight. Earl Spence Jr. is terrific. Danny Garcia, sensational as well. 1st and 10. Howard pops it outside. Good running, and he gets out of bounds after picking up a 1st down. Will Howard chased out of bounds by Adamora.
And again, it's that diamond set out of the shotgun. They get everyone going one way. They fake it to Deuce Vaughn going one way, and then they have 2 lead backs blocking for Howard going over to the left side. That's been a concept that has really served them well during the course of this game. It's been tough for Texas to come up with an answer.
15-yard gain for Will Howard. 1st down at the 39. Little snap handle over the middle and incomplete. Ball intended for Phillip Brooks.
You know, it's pretty apparent that Kansas State's going to have a really hard time just drop back passing, right? Even in the short passing game. Gus, they have to move the football with the run game, with the misdirection. If I'm Texas right now, I think Chris Ash, even though he's trying to keep it basic and they've got some new faces in there, in particular in the secondary, it might be time to just commit all the resources to stopping the run, play man coverage on the outside, and force Will Howard to make tight window throws to beat you.
2nd down and 10 at the 39. Howard wants to run it with room. Better be careful. Howard, flag on the play, targeting may be coming up. Juwan Mitchell going in high, and there's an injured Longhorn Ojimo, the sophomore from Katy, is the man down.
Yeah, Moro
Personal
Ojimo.
foul, targeting, number 6, defense. Previous play is under review.
Ojimo was chasing Will Howard after his rush here, number 98. And then Mitchell comes flying in and right here leads with the head. And there's no doubt about it that he was leading with the crown there. Doesn't matter who he contacts. And let's hope that Ojimo is okay. He's slow to get up. And this is going to be the second game that we've called for Texas that Juwan Mitchell has been thrown out of. There's absolutely no doubt about this one.
Our Dean Blandino, our rules analyst, joins us from our Los Angeles studios. Dean, what do you see?
Yeah, so we start with, we have a sliding runner. So he is in a defenseless posture. Then you're looking at an indicator, and the defender is going to lead with the shoulder, attack, make forcible contact to the side of the head. I agree with you, Joel. This is targeting.
Plus, Dean, and I know that this is not necessarily a part of the rule, but he clearly has his head down and contacts his own player with the crown of his helmet. Obviously, he's making forcible contact with his right shoulder to the head or neck area right there of Howard, who's in a defenseless posture, but also just the trajectory with his crown. Everything about this suggests that Juwan Mitchell is going to be disqualified from this game.
Yeah, and that's the part of the posture that you don't like to see. When you lower the head, it puts yourself at risk, and as we see here, it puts his teammate at risk as well.
All right, Dean, thank you very much. Here comes the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling of targeting is confirmed. Number 6 is disqualified for the remainder of the game. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced at the end of the run. It's first down, Kansas State.
Well, this is the second time that Texas has had to deal with this. And remember, and speaking of Juwan Mitchell being disqualified from a game, and Gus, if you remember that TCU game, immediately TCU started having a lot of success running the football. Not that Kansas State hasn't had success running the football, but all this misdirection run game is putting stress on the linebackers. Now you get into the depth of that linebacker position, and this Kansas State team's got to feel good about their game plan.
First down at the 44 for K-State. Howard over the middle, and it's caught. Riley Moore dragging a defender with him. That's Thompson, but a big gain for Riley Moore, 12 yards.
And good protection in the backfield. Now, Osai almost gets there. You see him coming in low, but Howard's able to stand tall, deliver the ball down the field, and Moore makes a nice catch up and over his head as Jaron Thompson came in and tried to punch it with his right hand.
First down at the 32 for K-State. Trotter breaking tackles. Harry Trotter with some hard running, finally stopped by Deshaun Jameson.
Well, the broken tackle there was number 41, Jalen Ford. He's a true freshman, and he's the linebacker now in for Juwan Mitchell. So some young players right now for Texas getting a lot of run. And again, if I'm Kansas State, I'm sticking right with this misdirection run game, and I'm going to attack the linebackers for Texas.
Jalen Ford, a freshman from Frisco. Deuce. Deuce. Deuce Vaughn. Another big pickup. 18 yards. First and goal now for K-State.
Check out Noah Johnson, the center. This is just kind of a wraparound block where you're going to get a block down from Taylor Portier, the right guard, and Johnson just pulls right around, leads up that hole. It's a big hole there for Kansas State. And again, Texas needs to commit more resources to stopping the run game. You got to force this game onto Will Howard in a passing situation.
Great thing about Deuce Vaughn is he doesn't need a big hole. Here's Howard. And Osai with the stop.
This is where they struggled a little bit last week, was down near the goal line. And part of that Right before Deuce scored the last touchdown, I was going to say, you know, it's hard having a guy small in stature down inside the, you know, 5, 6, 7 yard line. But Deuce is such a rare guy that you can still get him the ball and he can make people miss.
2nd and goal at the 7. Howard over the middle. Caught. Knowles. Touchdown, Kansas State. Malik Knowles has had a wonderful game. And he adds the 7-yard touchdown to make it a 38-23 affair.
Missed tackles. Chris Brown comes up number 15, and he's got position. He needs to get the ball down right there, and Knowles stays up. Great strength and balance, and he's able to turn that ball up and get into the end zone. And number 41, Jalen Ford, he overruns the play. So Texas now struggling a bit on defense.
Extra point up and good. 38-24. Kansas State in striking distance of Texas. Big News Saturday is presented by AT&T Business. Our people and network will help keep you connected. Let's take care of business. And is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Next weekend starts Saturday strong as one of America's greatest rivalries. Headlines Big News Saturday when Justin Fields and number 4 Ohio State battle Michigan. It all starts with a special Big Noon kickoff live from the Shoe at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, followed by Big Noon Saturday on Fox. Will Howard throws his 7th touchdown pass, most by a freshman in K-State history, 38-24. Kansas State trying to get back into this game as Deshaun Jamison still on the move. Oh, touchdown, Jamison. Or is he down at the 1? Let's see. Looks like he got in. What a run.
He reached out.
Touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
Deshaun Jamison. 99 yards.
This will be a great look. No, he's going to be short. This will come back. Right when that elbow hit, he was down at that 1 yard line. When they take a look at this, he was reaching out. Gus, I saw what you saw. In real speed, it sure looked like he got to the goal line.
The touchdown is under further review.
Sam Ehlinger loves it on the Texas sideline.
We've seen a couple of those almost hit today. Jamison has done a great job in the return game, and there he found a hole and just burst, man. The speed down the sideline. K-State fans, the few that are in the house today, can't stand it. Boy, what a great return. Jamison has had a really good year. Kickoff return. Took one back 100 yards for a touchdown against Oklahoma State. This one was pretty clearly short. There's the elbow. Clear look. Ball just inside of the 1 yard line. It'll be over on that right hash.
DeAndre Thomas hustling to get back and get Jamison to the ground.
I never know what they're doing back there. What are they doing?
Texas looking for their 6th win of the season. They have Kansas and Lawrence next week. So if they are able to win this game today and head into the game next week, Texas with great opportunity to pick up their 7th win. Only 3 losses: TCU, Oklahoma, and last week Iowa State.
After reviewing the play, the runner is short of the goal line. The ball will be placed at the 1 yard line. It's 1st and goal, Texas.
Exactly as we showed you 2 minutes ago.
That's right. Patience, patience, grasshopper. We got nowhere to go.
Well, you might.
There's nothing to do but watch football on Saturdays.
Man, okay, so here's the deal. They got burned in the past this season, not running Ellinger inside the 5, right? It's time for quarterback power. You let this guy go get it.
And they hand it off. Johnson trying to get in the end zone. Backs his way in. Touchdown, Texas.
Great second effort from Johnson. Didn't get it initially on that left side and just kept going. And like you said, just kind of had to back in. After the great return, the offense comes in, pays it off. And the turnovers and poor special teams play has set Texas, up with great field position. They've been able to pay it off. There it is. Wasn't down till that left shoulder hit. That ball was clearly across the plane. Great second effort. And now Johnson has his 3rd touchdown.
So Robinson with 3 touchdowns. Rashawn Johnson with 3 touchdowns. And Texas takes a 44-24 lead. I really like the way the Longhorns are playing today.
Well, in particular offensively, right? They've struggled a little bit here in the last few series on defense with some missed tackles. K-State has got loose in the run game. But this offense, the special teams, and Gus, it should be noted, and I think the Texas fans will concur on this one, we haven't seen those big mistakes, the penalties, the self-inflicted wounds that we normally see when we've done Texas games over the last couple of years. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. Cameron Dicker in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. 45-24. Texas responds. Jamison, 98-yard run. Ellinger and company pay it off with the score. Big Noon Saturday is presented by AT&T Business. Our people and network will help keep you connected. Let's take care of business. Coming into this game, Sam Ellinger had 8 of the Longhorns' 11 rushing touchdowns this season. The backs had only 3. Today, the backs have 6.
That's been terrific. Johnson, a couple of scores. Robinson, 3 scores. And let's see if Deuce Vaughn can answer.
This one punched into the end zone for a touchback.
Let's take a look at our moments of protection brought to you by Allstate. Get better protected with Allstate. You've never been in better hands. And Deshaun Jamison takes off down the far sideline. Almost gets into the end zone, and he has been close on a couple of different returns. We saw him against TCU on a return that got called back due to penalty, got it all the way down to the 1. This one gets all the way down to the 1. He returned one for 100 yards and a touchdown against Oklahoma State, so clearly one of the better return men in all of America.
First down for K-State. Here's Deuce as he jitterbugs through the hole and picks up about 3 on the play. Coburn with the tackle, big snacks. Love this Texas team. They got a big snacks and they got a big lunch.
Who's big lunch?
Tavondre Sweat.
So the starter Coburn goes by big snacks.
Or goes by snacks.
Snacks, and Sweat goes by big lunch.
Big lunch, that's right. A big lunch of snacks.
So don't stand behind those guys in the buffet line.
That's right, 2nd and 7. Howard drops it off Trotter. And Trotter, nice run after the catch. Should have a first down in front of Deshaun Jamison.
Well, this defense is going to get stressed because Kansas State has found a rhythm offensively. And clearly it starts with the ability to run the football. We've seen them establish that, the misdirection, everything that they're doing along with that, including Howard running the football. He's got 12 carries for 52 yards. And then now off of that, you're starting to get a little of that play action pass and some of those fakes that are opening up the passing game.
First down and 10 at the 40. Vaughn around the corner. Deuce Vaughn, high stepping. Oh, Chris Brown there to nudge him out of play, but another terrific pickup for Deuce Vaughn. And Jenny,
Well, you know what, guys? Deuce isn't just a Texas kid. The Longhorns are the reason his family moved to Texas. Deuce's dad, Chris, he was a coach at Texas at the time. So I asked Deuce, you know, there's got to be some added motivation for you this week going up against a team that they didn't show you a lot of interest. You attended camps growing up as a young kid. He said, you know what? Not at all. I knew K-State was the right place for me, and he still has plenty to prove today.
All right, thank you, Jenny. Knowles with the catch, touchdown, Kansas State. Malik Knowles with his second touchdown reception. 45-30.
Well, now you're going to have a missed assignment in the back end. Watch as Knowles is going to run a deep over route. On that side, Texas is playing zone. On this close side, you've got guys running with the wide receivers down the field as if they're in man coverage. So that miscommunication sets up an easy score for Knowles.
So Kansas State refusing to quit. Blake Lynch, extra point is good. As you said, partner, Juwan Mitchell went out of the game with the targeting call. That's changed everything for Kansas State. The Deuce has set a freshman school record for rushing yards.
And they knew it in the offseason. I remember talking with Chris Kleiman before the year. We were talking about, wow, are we going to have a season? And he goes, hey, if we play, just wait till you get a load of this freshman running back that we have. His name's Deuce Vaughn. Clued me into him. And, boy, he's been great since the jump, man. We were here for week 1 for Kansas State against Arkansas State. He was great that day. What'd you call him? Sandblaster? Remember that?
That's right. Deuce is averaging 13 yards every touch today, including 109 yards rushing. And Malik Knowles has 95 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he has been really good. And last week against Baylor, he was big in the run game. They started getting him the ball. He took one of those jet sweeps, and he took it the distance for an over 70-yard touchdown. And then this week, now what they've been able to do is get the run game going, then the play action, and then because of that, Howard's been more comfortable and the passing game has opened up.
Robinson. And Bijan Robinson, who's had a fine day himself. 8 carries, 145 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, a long of 75 yards.
You know what they need now, though? A long drive, because think about it, their last 2 scores were really quick. They had the long touchdown run from Bijan Robinson, then the return that goes all the way down to the 1, so the defense needs a little bit of a rest. Their last 3 possessions outside of that last snap before the half, they've given up a score to Kansas State. So this Texas defense needs a rest and coming on the offense to give it to them.
1 second and 5. Robinson breaks it back. Robinson slashing. Robinson sticking his foot in the ground. Bijan Robinson upended by Justin Gardner after a 27-yard gain.
Boy, this is just fun to watch. It's fun to watch these young backs, how good they are in space.
Play fake. Ellinger guns it over the middle, incomplete, broken up by Justin Gardner, intended for Eagles.
I wonder if that one was in the sun. See what the angle of the shadows and the angle that pass came at? I mean, he's staring right back at the sun's not, because it looks like it just, I mean, it goes right through his hands. That's a ball he certainly wants to catch and should catch.
2nd and 10 at the 43. Sam Ellinger to Robinson. Whoa, what a stutter step. Bijan Robinson.
Dude, this is a show right now, man. Look at this. He's not even looking upfield, and then he's just like, oh, bam. Gave him a little dead leg.
1st and 10 at the 32. 11-yard gain on that reception for Bijan Robinson. Ellinger looking near side. Ball caught. Joshua Moore.
This offense has looked so different than what they normally are. This offense is a take a shot down the field offense. They love to throw the ball down the field. I think, first of all, Sam Cosme opting out, then Kerstetter gets injured, and they're like, listen, we're not going to have Sam Ehlinger just hang back there in the pocket. So it's been short passing when they want to throw it. It's been run game, letting these young cats up front really get after it in the run game, and it's paid off.
First down and 10 at the 15. Here's a reverse. Whittington with a block. Whittington, touchdown, Texas. Jordan Whittington. And the Longhorns make it a 51-31 game.
And another really impressive drive for Texas. Not much has slowed them down. Shoot, man, 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. They got 51 on the board right now. And when you're running it that well, what happens is that the defense has to commit to the first flow, right? That action. And then Whittington comes back, and he's another one of these young players, highly recruited. They can't wait until he's fully healthy, and he seems to be right now.
Extra point is good. Texas's 7th rushing touchdown today. And the Longhorns hang a half a hundred on Kansas State. We've still got a lot of football left. Jordan Whittington with the terrific touchdown run on the reverse to give Texas a 52-31 lead.
And Gus, he's really only played like 2 or 3 games in his Texas career healthy. This is one of them. You kind of see what he could provide. He's another one of these guys that are going to be huge stuff.
Vaughn picks it up at the 1-yard line. Deuce Vaughn gets up the sideline. Still moving. He's got a convoy in front of him. Finally tracked down by guess who? Dicker the kicker. Cameron Dicker making the tackle on special teams. If not, Vaughn would have had a lot more.
Well, it looked precarious back there when he let that ball hit the ground. And then he was able to get the corner, and it looked like he might have gotten horse-collared there at the end of the play.
Personal foul. Horse-collar tackle number 14 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Kansas State.
Yep. No doubt about that. That's Brendan Schooler, the transfer, was at Oregon. Then he was going to go play with his brother at Arizona when the Pac-12 wasn't going to come back. He came out here to Texas. Gets the flag there.
So Kansas State gets the ball at the Texas 44. First down. Howard. And he crashes forward to the 40. A couple of freshmen doing extremely well today.
172 rush yards for Robinson, over the 100 mark for Vaughn. They've both been dangerous out of the backfield. I'll tell you what, it's been quite a show, and Texas fans have been waiting for this from Bijan Robinson, and he has certainly burst onto the stage. And K-State fans, you've been seeing this all year long from Deuce Vaughn. What a sensational player he is.
Second down and 6 at the 40. Howard, quick drop off. And they'll get Harry Trotter in on the play. Overshown with the tackle.
Good closing speed there from Overshown to make that tackle, and now Texas has an opportunity to try to get off the field. Although from this field position, you know, the way that this game is going with the defense playing that they're playing for Kansas State, I think it's probably 4-down territory here. You might want to think about a run play here, give yourself a short yardage 4th down opportunity.
Trotter remains in the game at running back. And it's a movement on that right side. Wow.
False start, number 73. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's Christian Duffy over there at right tackle. Howard was trying to get the motion squared away as he was telling, you see him pointing, telling Phillip Brooks where to stand, and Christian Duffy just came back out of his stance.
Deuce Vaughn back in. 3rd down and 9 at the 43.
Watch him out of the backfield here on a little arrow route, trying to come back over the middle.
Howard looking. Oh, he was open too.
But Howard did have a little bit of pressure on him. That brings up 4th down and 9.
Howard was expecting him to come back over the middle. That's what it was. It was one of those option routes. Deuce goes to the outside instead of staying on the inside. That's one of those that they talked about. The biggest deal for them on those option routes, the jerk route I called it earlier, is being on the same page. There they weren't. Howard was expecting one thing out of his young running back, and he didn't get it.
Jack Bloomer comes in to punt now for Kansas State. And this ball fair caught inside the 15 by Jamison. Let's go downstairs to Jenny.
Well, I love what we're seeing from these young guys. And Bijan Robinson, we've been waiting to see it. His nickname, Gus, you like nicknames, Smiley. The name Bijan actually means hero. And guys, his numbers in high school are insane. He rushed for over 7,000 yards in 4 years in Arizona. There were high expectations for him. Why did he want to go to Texas? He had offers from Bama, LSU, Ohio State. This quote from him: college football is better when Texas is good. I want to help them get back to that. The future is bright for Bijan.
Oh, no question about it. What a day he's having. First down at the 14 for UT. Johnson this time also having a great day as he gets a first down. Deshaun Johnson came to Texas as a quarterback, but because of the injuries in the backfield last year, was forced into service and had a great season.
Yep, he did a remarkable job back there, and he's turned into a heck of a back. And I got to tell you, the other group that's not getting as much love from us but should right now, this offensive line has been incredible today, blocking for either one of these backs.
2nd down and 1 after the 9-yard gain. Sam Ehlinger guns it, and that one thrown a little bit behind Eagles. Incomplete.
I think one of the only things that they've really been missing offensively this year is a real consistent #1 option. Remember, they lost Devin Duvernay and Colin Johnson, and they've needed that #1 receiver, and Eagles has just not been consistent enough.
3rd down and 1 at the 23. And it's Johnson. First down, keeps his footing, spinning out of trouble. Deshaun Johnson, the sophomore, with a terrific run, 10 yards.
Gus, because they're able to stay fresh and rotate almost every other series, they run hard, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Like Johnson there, that is a hard run on a short yardage. He's spinning, he's fighting for extra yardage every single time he touches the rock.
And they're big backs.
Yeah.
1st and 10 at the 33.
And this is a decimated defense that doesn't have a lot of depth. They've had some injuries already today, and they're going to start getting really worn down here late.
Johnson straight ahead. Another tackle he breaks, and another first down gained. Brock Monty finally throws himself under the chariot.
I told you earlier in the game, when you get up to that 55 snap mark, 60 snap mark, this Kansas State defense takes a sharp dive because of their numbers. They just don't have enough players. This next snap is going to be the 54th snap for Texas, and you're starting to see the missed tackles and that line of scrimmage getting moved way down the field.
First down to the 46. Ehlinger to the sideline, and it's Kai Money.
I've loved the game plan for Texas. They've kind of protected this offensive line. They've allowed the offensive line to play aggressively, and this has not been the mold of what Texas. They want to take shots down the field. They haven't done it today. Haven't thrown the ball over 20 yards down the field.
2nd down and 4 at the 48. Ehlinger, play action, sprints out, looks backside, delivers down the field. Incomplete, threw that one into double coverage. Deshaun Johnson, the receiver.
I think that play is evidence of why. 1, your quarterback took a shot. 2, it was thrown into double coverage, right? And you don't pick up positive yards. Here's the shot in the back end. Ehlinger's trying to get the ball down the field, and you expose them like that, and really, they're not going to be stopped running the football. They've got whatever they want on the ground right now. And in particular now, look, no levels in the defense here. Everyone for K-State walked up at the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 4. Ehlinger wants to run it. No. Throws it over the middle. Yes. Caught. Jake Smith. And finally thrown out of bounds hard by
Thomas, but Smith picks up the first down.
This is what a veteran quarterback gives you. Watch this. They think everyone's going to blitz. Watch even the line. They're going to dive at him like, oh, we're going to get their hands down. And Ellinger holds the ball and finds the second window for the slant.
33-yard gain. Sam just throws it out on the option. It is a touchdown. Wow, Cade Brewer tightrope the sideline.
Touchdown, Texas.
And scores.
It looked like Kansas State kind of gave up on the play. Amaris Brown, 21, watch as he kind of comes into the screen. He's another one of these reserves, and I think he feels like Brewer steps out right there, but he doesn't. Left foot is in. You see how they just kind of gave up? 21 right there, and that one was close again, his left foot.
Previous
but boy,
play,
it looked like he was in,
is under further
didn't it?
review.
Yes, it did.
Amaris Brown is there. He's a freshman. He's another reserve that's been forced into action, like I said, because of the depleted numbers. And he thinks Brewer is out of bounds, doesn't want to draw a penalty by hitting him late. So watch as he's trying to hustle over, and then right here he just kind of gives up as he's like, okay, he's out of bounds right there. Looks like the foot is in. Maybe the shadow was confusing him as well, and that foot also very close. Linesman is right on it. Don't blow it dead, and wound up in the end zone. And how about the play from Ellinger right here? I mean, oh my goodness.
That's called a Dr. Pepper pitch.
That's right. That's in. That's close.
That's close.
I don't know about that. But if they call, I mean, here's the thing. It's got to be indisputable. Do you see him definitely on?
No, I don't.
If you're worried about forward or backwards pass, if he's beyond the line of scrimmage, one, you can make an argument that that was backwards, which wouldn't matter. It would have been a lateral. And I think he still had a, remember, all you got to have is one body part behind the line of scrimmage for it to be legal. Then you start looking at the feet, whether they're in bounds. That certainly left foot looks to be in. I think the next step out was the one that I thought was closer. Lots of things to review there. One, I think he's barely behind the line of scrimmage if it is a forward pass, but I think you could argue that he threw that backwards, which then it wouldn't matter. I want to see that second step. There's the second step. Gus, this is the closer one, but you can't tell me that's on the white, right?
You can't say that because you can't see it. Dean Blandino is with us. Dean, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm like you guys. I'm looking at those feet at the sideline. They're close, but I haven't seen anything definitive to show that it is out of bounds at this point.
Dean, what about the pass? You know, have you established whether that was backwards or forwards, and if Ellinger was behind the line of scrimmage?
Remember, his entire body and the football must be beyond the line for it to be an illegal forward pass. And when he releases it, I think his body, watch his, it's going to be his back foot that's still going to be right there.
Yeah.
He's not clearly beyond. So
after
that's
reviewing two aspects on the play, the quarterback throws the ball forward behind the line of scrimmage. That is confirmed. The runner is inbounds. The touchdown is good.
So Cade Brewer gives Texas a 58-31 lead.
Man, this offense has been working on all cylinders today, and a great play by Sam Ellinger, the senior quarterback, just behind the line of scrimmage, and then Brewer is able to stay in bounds. The senior from Austin, Texas, played at Lake Travis High School and gets in the end zone.
So Sam Ellinger throws his first touchdown of the day as Cameron Dicker comes in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. 59-31. Texas. Texas with 59 points scored through 3 quarters. First time since.
Were you on that Colorado team?
Hey, why? Hey,
what year did you come out of Colorado?
Hey, you guys down in the truck. You got jokes. You guys got jokes, huh?
Jokes. Wait a minute. They put 70 on you.
Right.
What's the joke?
I was the quarterback in that team.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, you know the best part about that game?
What is it?
I don't remember.
Were you concussed in that game?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Deuce Vaughn again crosses the 20 up to the 23-yard line. Do you remember who hit you?
Only because he reminds me on Twitter every anniversary, which I think it just happened. I think it's today, December 5th.
Wow. Who?
Drew Kelson, I believe his name was.
And he lets you know.
He hits me up on Twitter. Hey, 15th anniversary when I knocked you
illegal
out.
block in the back, number 33 of the receiving team. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. First down, Kansas State.
Man.
59-31.
Our production trucks got jokes.
They got jokes.
Real fun. Fun time, guys. Way to go. Thanks.
505 yards for Texas. They've rushed for 262. K-State, good numbers. And passing yards, 243.
But defensively, you know, they've given up a ton of yards as well, giving up over 500 yards. Or excuse me, over 370 yards on the day.
Trotter breaks it back. Trotter crossing the 10, rolls to the 12. Josh Thompson defensively for Texas. I don't know, when I look at Texas under Coach Herman, I just think that they're just
they're close, man.
They're so close.
No. I think that's what drives the fan base crazy, right? Is like, it's right there. It's so tantalizing. And then you get those games where they just have those self-inflicted wounds and they lose games that they shouldn't, and it's maddening.
Howard.
But think of all the young players that are just killing it today for Texas. Really both sides, even for Kansas State as well. But, you know, you're starting to see, and you're seeing certainly the fruits of those 3 top 10 recruiting classes in a row that Tom Herman has pulled in. And right now, in the 2021 class, it's not in the top 10, but I would argue that's more due to the uncertainty surrounding the program than it is Tom's ability to recruit, right? That's just based on, and I always bring up USC as an example. They were 12th in the Pac-12 last year in recruiting, in large part due to uncertainty. Now all of a sudden Clay Helton has a top 10 class. Here you look at the commitments from top 20 recruits in the state of Texas. Obviously he came in with a bang, those 12 in the 18 class, 3 in the 19 class, 5 in the 20 class, but now only 1 in this upcoming class. Gus, that's 100% uncertainty surrounding the program, right? And so that's why I said earlier, regardless of the decision that's going to be made, it just needs to be made soon.
First down and 10 at the 23. Howard intercepted again. Nicely done. And that's David Benda going up high and pulling it down.
Well, Howard has got his tight end, Briley Moore. They're just slipping him right down the seam. Iowa State ran this exact play a few different times against Texas last week, but here Benda falls back into the lap of the route, and Howard just didn't quite put enough air on it. And how about that? Another turnover, and David Benda is able to bring home an interception, and that's another short field that this Texas offense will operate with. Now that's 3 turnovers for Kansas State. They've given up a return that went down to the 1-yard line. They've just put their defense in precarious spot after precarious spot.
So Texas takes over at the Kansas State 32. First down. Ellinger pump fake, looking and caught. Touchdown Texas. Malcolm Epps.
Oh man, this is, I know a ton of quarterbacks that this is their favorite concept in the world. Gus, it's called sluggo seam. Watch, he's going to pump fake the sluggo route. That's a slant and go on the right side. Then he's going to come back and he's going to throw the seam route right down the middle of the field. You get the safety to move over to that wide side with that pump fake, and then you come back, he adjusts in the pocket, and he throws it right down the middle of the field. That's Drew Brees' favorite concept with the New Orleans Saints.
Extra point, good. One play covering for the touchdown for Texas. And the Longhorns winning it big. It's 2 o'clock. 66-31.
Man. Beautiful route there from Epps. The interception. Easily the most complete game that we've seen from Texas, and their defense hadn't even played that great, right? I mean, they've given up far too many rushing yards, but opportunistic, the ability to take the ball away. Their special teams has been really good.
Last time K-State allowed over 60 at home, 1984 against Missouri.
Don't bring up the mid-'80s to K-State fans. That was pre-Bill Snyder, in a time in which this program almost went away. It was so bad. I would argue it was, if not the worst, close to the worst program in the history of college football pre-Bill Snyder. He built it into what I think has been one of the most consistent and best programs in the country. Chris Kleiman certainly seems to be the man for the job. They're suffering through a difficult year here this year.
Who's Vaughn? And Vaughn with another first down as Chris Brown drops him. That's Taylor Portier, the freshman.
He's one of these guys. Last week, Friday, before their game with Baylor, Josh Rivas and Ben Adler, their 2 starting guards, you know, because of COVID, got pulled from the game. And so all of a sudden they had a couple of guys that had to get thrown in there. One of them was Taylor Portier, and Taylor's a really good young player, and he's going to be an outstanding lineman for Kansas State here in the future. I think he's got a bright NFL future ahead of him. He's got a good frame. He's athletic, good feet, good hands. Got called there for the holding call, but
6'2", 290.
Injured Longhorn is Josh Thompson, number 9. They're already really thin. Jalen Green is out with a shoulder. He's a backup corner, so they really only had 2 corners coming into this game. Deshaun Jameson, 5, who's obviously been outstanding, including that return down to the 1-yard line, and Josh Thompson, number 9. So we'll see what they go with. Juwan Mitchell was disqualified for targeting. Ojimo left the game on that same play that Mitchell was ejected for targeting. So Caden Stearns is opted out. BJ Foster injured his hamstring in practice this week, and he's not playing. So this is kind of like, hey, who can play? Who can go out there and cover and play? And we're going to find out here in the next quarter and 52 seconds.
First down and long. K-State giving it to Brooks. Alfred Collins defensively for Texas. 5-yard pickup, 2nd and 15.
Now Cooper Beebe, number 50, is down. Cooper had been playing right tackle, got moved into left guard. He was reaching for that left ankle.
(66-31) Texas, with 537 yards of total offense in this game. Early game headlines: Ohio State
leading the Spartans of Michigan State on the road, 38-7. Fields having a total spectacular day. A&M, top of Auburn, OSU, leading TCU. And when Texas looks back at their season, the one that they really are going to be disappointed at is losing to TCU.
Yeah.
We called that.
And they had it, right? I mean, they
fumbled on the goal line.
BB's up and off the field. It looked like they have the game won, and Keontae Ingram, reached out and fumbled at the goal line.
Dragged down, nice tackle. Face first for Crawford. Freshman from Tyler. And that takes us to the end of the third quarter. 66-31. A lot of football left. Back to Manhattan after this. Big News Saturday is sponsored by AT&T Business. Welcome back to Manhattan, Kansas. 3rd down and 16 as we start the fourth quarter. Kansas State and Howard running it. And Howard, taken down as he gets close to the 25 by Jamison. Sean Jamison has had a fine football game today.
Got a flag in the backfield. There was a little extracurricular here behind the play.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 49 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. That is number 49's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Taquan Graham.
He's been playing great football. Had a chance to talk with him this week and just stressed how badly he wanted to go out the right way here as a senior. And he's had a really good year. Couple of sacks, 7 tackles for loss. Part of that defensive front that up until today had been really good against the run, but obviously Kansas State has gotten after him a little bit.
Howard, back keeper, straight ahead. Benda, who had the interception with the tackle there.
And this Kansas State team, boy, they came out of the gates game busters, didn't they? Even though they lost their first game, then they come back. Game that we call, they beat Oklahoma. They looked, get themselves ranked, and just kind of fell off after Skylar Thompson went down.
Vaughn hurdling. Number 22. Almost dropped it. Great hands. Gets to the 40. Jalen Ford stops him.
17. I really think Chris Klieman has done a heck of a job here. And I know people are going to be frustrated here at the way that it looks like this season is finishing up. And certainly 66 on the board is not going to help. They've got 4 straight losses coming in, but a couple of those games, Oklahoma State 2-point loss, a game that they feel like they should have won. Last week, game they probably should have won. 1-point loss to Baylor.
Kansas State 8-5 a year ago. Howard gets out of bounds. Remember last year, Kansas State had the big win against Oklahoma, their signature win.
Yep. Now 2 straight years. Got them this year.
Got them this year too.
And they've got some good young offensive linemen. You're seeing Taylor Poitier in there, number 52. He's a really good player. Cooper Beebe is a really good player, even though he got banged up on this series. Christian Duffy, only a sophomore. So they've got some building blocks here for Coach Klieman and what I think can be a really dangerous team here in the future.
Trotter. And he flips forward close to the first down. He may have it. Jalen Ford there.
You're going to have, obviously, Deuce is back. He's just a freshman. Malik Knowles is a sophomore. Sebastian Taylor, he's a junior. He'll be back. Phillip Brooks, he's a sophomore on the outside. He'll be back. So you see these pieces for K-State. And Gus, with their mentality, you could see them being formidable here, next season. And we'll see what happens with bowl invites. Remember, there's not bowl eligibility requirements this year, so we'll see if Kansas State can get an invite, and they certainly will accept it. Howard. And he will not pick up the first down. Wonderful open field tackle for this Texas squad. And that's Estelle. Montrell Estelle, the junior from Hooks. You know who's from Hooks, Texas? Who's that? Billy Sims. Is he? I believe so. I just love that. Where are you from? Hooks, Texas. Hooks, Texas. You go to Hooks, Texas. Don't you got to go to Texas University of Texas? Hook 'em horns? You would think so. 4th down and 2. Kansas State going for it. Here's Howard. Over the middle. And it is Deuce Vaughn. Did he make the catch? No, he didn't. So Kansas State turns it over on downs. Just needed a beat more in the pocket to try to get this ball to Deuce, and as he laid out, just not enough. Incomplete. Texas ball. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by Pacific Life, more than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. Sam Ehlinger is ranked 2nd all-time in most stats at Texas. Tacole McCoy, including total touchdowns, where he is ahead of Longhorn legends such as Ricky Williams and Vince Young. And his day may be finished. New quarterback in, Casey Thompson, sophomore. He hands it off to Johnson. And Roschon Johnson, another huge gain as he gets all the way to midfield. Well, listen, this is going to be our last time to cover Sam, and we see Casey, and Casey's going to be involved in a battle here. And even though eligibility is frozen and Sam would have the option, I just don't sense that he's going to come back. And I think that he's gonna move on. So Casey would be involved with Hudson Card, a true freshman, #1, maybe Jaquindon Jackson as well, in a battle for the QB spot moving forward. But Gus, you and I have had a chance to call several Sam Ehlinger games, and can't say enough about him as a leader and a player. Roschon Johnson, another big run. Roschon Johnson all the way down. Inside the 10, Ross Elder with the saving tackle for Kansas State. This has just been a totally different Texas game plan. This is only the 2nd time under Herman here at Texas that they've run for over 250 and thrown for over 250. And when you really think about it, that was kind of the MO for Herman as a coordinator at Ohio State. Remember, he was the coordinator for the Zeke Elliott National Championship Buckeyes, and that was kind of their MO, was leaning on the run game, and it looks like they finally found that ability, at least here today, with a couple of running backs, Gus, that have been absolutely outstanding behind an offensive line that has been nothing short of dominant. And it's been a makeshift offensive line. Think about it. Samuel Cosme opts out. Kerstetter, that injury earlier, and got some young guys in there playing and doing a heck of a job. And here's Thompson running it himself. He will not get back to the line of scrimmage. Justin Hughes, Keandre Thomas combining. Sam Ehlinger. He was 2 years old. He said he was going to be Chris Sims. Did a little better than that. I bet you Chris would even say that. Yeah. Yes. Chris Sims, good man. Dad, good man. 3rd down goal at the 7. And Thompson keeps it. Oh, welcome to the game, young fella. Oh, Jones. Wayne Jones. Dude, don't tiptoe around here. Dude. Wayne Jones, listen to this.
Don't kick my bike. Don't kick my bike. Folks, go to YouTube and just Google "don't kick my bike," and you know exactly what Joel Klatt is talking about.
Oh my goodness. Do not kick my bike.
Do not kick my bike. Fourth down and goal for Texas.
The second half, timeout on the field.
And a timeout on the field. We'll step away. 7:53 to go. Back after this. (66-31). Cameron Dicker in to attempt a field goal.
Sorry, folks. I've been on Gus's case here during the break because he sounded like such an old man. Go to YouTube and Google.
See, you caught me.
I'm sorry, man.
You can't go to YouTube and Google?
No,
you don't do that, right?
That's not how it works.
My bad, my bad.
YouTube and type in the search bar.
Okay, search it in the Google. You could look it up. You know what I'm saying? Go to YouTube and search. Or go to Google.
Back to you, back to you.
Back to you. There you go. 69-31. Texas now has 600 yards of offense. The second time this year. Also, they did it against Utah. Longhorns with a 69-31 lead over Kansas State. 7:48 to play in the fourth. Texas on their way to their 6th win of the season. Dicker been kicking it out of the end zone all day. That brings us to the Pacific Life game summary.
Sponsored by Pacific Life, more than 150 years strong. Trust in your tomorrow. Man, what a third quarter it was, right? I mean, Texas just came out there and laid the hammer down. And just as Jenny pointed out in our halftime report, how Tom Herman challenged his team and said, hey, listen, I know we had the air knocked out of us a little bit when one of our leaders, Derek Kerstetter, left with that injury in the first half, but he said Derek would want you to come out here and play with some pride and give your best effort, and they certainly have done that here in the second half and have laid it on them. 69-31. Man, how many? I can't think of it. I can only remember a couple of games I've done with 100 points.
Second down and 5 of the 30. Texas will play Kansas next week in Lawrence. This is the final game of the regular season for Kansas State. Knowles. And Knowles taken down around the 40-yard line.
I like Knowles.
I do too.
He's got some serious ability.
He's got great size, 262, 200 pounds, sophomore.
I think they need to find a way to feature him in the passing game more, and I think that he could have a monster year on the outside next year. It should be noted, Will Howard, yes, he's a true freshman, not automatically going to be the starter. They got a very highly recruited player coming in out of Colorado, a 4-star quarterback from Littleton named Jake Rubley. They also have Nick Ost, who's on the roster right now. They'll all compete for the job.
First down, Kansas State.
And that also leads to a bigger question about the future of Skylar Thompson.
That's what I was wondering.
And whether he would potentially come back. Remember, this is a free year eligibility-wise, so even though he took part in senior day, he did hurt that shoulder. There's a chance that Skylar Thompson would come back and potentially want one last year. And that will be some interesting conversations here over the next couple of weeks.
Tyler Burns and Deshaun Jameson.
It's so interesting, Gus, because when talking with these coaches, we talked with both of them about this. There's Skylar Thompson. He's been up in the booth ever since injuring that shoulder, trying to help the coaching staff and what they're seeing. He's very, very smart, understands the game plan, what they're trying to accomplish. So he's helped them out that way. But what's interesting is this whole eligibility frozen, and it doesn't mean that you can that you can for sure automatically come back. It's got to be a mutual decision. The school has to say, yeah, your scholarship is available. We're willing to honor that. And the player would also have to want to come back. So a lot of moving parts with this whole free year of eligibility. It's not an automatic. I will say this, though, for those of you wondering about, like, well, what happens with the 85 scholarship cap? That actually kind of goes away next season only. And if you're a senior and want your scholarship, that would not count against the 85. So, again, a lot of moving parts, but we're expecting potentially the one-time transfer to inter-college football without penalty here in January, which is a whole other mess. We didn't have time even in this long ball game to discuss, but you know, so there's a lot of moving parts in this offseason.
And they'll run it with Phillip Brooks.
Another thing I started to wonder about is just the financial viability for some of these programs with the revenue that they're losing in this COVID year, of not only taking on extra scholarships in the future, but also what that means to Title IX and how they're allocating resources to their women's programs because of those extra scholarships. You know, so there's a lot to hash out. And Coach Kleiman, by the way, when we talked to him, said, I have not talked with our players at all about it. I want them to enjoy senior day, enjoy the end of the season, and we'll talk about it a week after our last regular season game.
And it takes a Kansas State bounce and will be downed at the 5-yard line, or inside the 5-yard line. 3:34 to play in the fourth. Back to Manhattan, Kansas after this. Big Noon Saturday is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Texas today, they've done a lot of good things. 69 points, most since 2005 when they put it on a Colorado team led by no one that day.
Oh, man.
That's for calling me an old man.
Hey, well, listen.
First down at 10.
You can go to YouTube and Google that one,
too. Gabriel Watson in the game. Wade Jones with the tackle. Coming up next, it's the BMW Ultimate Update.
I believe that one's under Drew Kelson Destroys Clatt. So
if you're going to YouTube to Google.
If you just watch Don't Kick My Bike, you can watch that one too.
Second down, 8 at the 6. Casey Thompson in for Sam Ellinger. And Thompson bobbles the ball, gets pushed out of bounds. Brock Monty there. So Kansas State will end the season 4-6.
You know, I said earlier, there's no requirement for bowl eligibility. So if they get an invite, they'll take it. You know, they've got all these young players, and think about it also. They've had 100 or more players miss at least 2 weeks throughout the season due to COVID protocols.
It's a lot.
53 of those players they've missed for 3 weeks. So these guys, from just a developmental standpoint, need reps, and that's what you would accept the bowl invitation for. You know, obviously it's great to go out there and play, but they need the ability to extend the season a little bit and get reps for all of these young players so that they can develop for next season.
This will be the 5th straight loss for Kansas State after they opened up conference play 4-0. Got to remind you of that. It's been a tough year for Kansas State in that regard, losing a quarterback. But on the Kansas State flag, it reads Ad Astra. In tough times, we head to the stars. Sam Ellinger talking to his guys on the sideline. Must feel good. 69 points on the board for the Texas Longhorns, who will improve their record to 6-3 as they round out their regular season next week in Lawrence against Kansas. Phillip Brooks, the deep man, signals for the fair catch, and he has it inside the 40. Tonight, it's the fight event of the fall as undefeated Errol Spence Jr. takes on Danny Garcia for the World Welterweight Championship. Available on pay-per-view or buy the fight on foxsports.com/PPV and watch on any screen you want. That's going to be a great one.
You always say styles make fights, right? Is that what we got going on there?
You just have two very, very talented fighters. And Danny Garcia, he's going to try to bring it tonight, that's for sure. Errol Spence, a lot of people are saying that the winner of this fight might get a chance to meet the great Terrence Crawford.
Well, partner, what a performance here from Texas, right? Last minute of this one, 69-31. It's a performance that the fan base has been wanting, and even Ellinger has been wanting. He told me during the course of the week, we were talking to him, and we were like, you ever get jealous of these teams that like blow people out? And he's like, yeah, I always wonder what that's like. Yeah, they're constantly in those one-score games. But, boy, they leaned on that run game. And Bijan Robinson, Roshan Johnson, just monster days, each of them over 130 yards. Robinson 172 on the ground.
Robinson career high 172 with 3 touchdowns. Johnson career high 139 and 3 touchdowns. Deuce Vaughn with a career high 125 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct number 33 of the defense, unsportsmanlike conduct number 70 of the offense. The yardages will offset. Both players will receive their first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Third down and 9 at the 41. Closing moments of this one here in Manhattan.
Pards, we shall see what happens in Austin, Texas.
That's right.
Kind of the eyes of the college football world are awaiting.
Yeah.
At this point, to be real honest with you, it's only one name out there, and if you don't get it, let this guy build it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Big win for Texas, 69-31 the final. Sam Ellinger, so long, young man. Seeing you down the road. It was awesome to cover you. For Jenny Taft, Joe Klatt, I'm Gus Johnson. Have a good day.